Hey everyone, welcome to the Speak and Grow Rich podcast with your hostess, with the mostest, Amanda Moxley. Today we have Odell Bizzel in the house. How are you?
Living the dream, Miss Moxley with the Moxie.
I love it. Exactly. So good. So Odell is actually an amazing speaker, and his gift is helping people who have TED Talks. They've done a TED Talk. They're already speaking. They already have a book, and his mastery is helping you get paid to speak, be a platform speaker, and get out there in front of the masses. So welcome. I had to have you on here because you're such an expert. You've been doing this for over 15 years. You told me that you had 317 paid speaking gigs and you've had well over 500 speaking gigs. So this man has got some major time in the saddle. So we want to hear it all. How did you get into speaking at such an early age?
Yeah, I started when I was 22, graduated from college. Amanda, like a lot of kids don't know what they want to do. I was a mediocre student. I was not, top of the class or anything like that. I was at the top of the bottom. But I got out and I remember graduating. My public speaking professor, Dr. Daryl Pond, came up to me. I still remember it was hot. I was outside taking pictures with my fiance, with my family. And he said, "Hey, let me shake your hand. What are you going to do?" And I said, "I don't know. I have no idea." And he said, "You should be a professional speaker." And I thought to myself, again, this is 22, this is 2007. And I'm like, what does that even mean? I had no context. I'd heard of Jim Rohn. I'd heard of Les Brown. I'd heard of Lisa Nichols, all these people, but I didn't know like what that meant. I thought you had to be famous. You know what I mean? I thought you had to, survive a plane crash or something. And he said this to me. This has stuck with me all these years. He said that you don't need to be famous. Most professional speakers are not famous. He said you just have to have a message and an audience that'll buy that message. That's it.
That's it.
And I was just going to say, when he said that to me, I was like, that's it. That's pretty simple. Okay, I'll go do it. And I was young and dumb enough to follow his advice.
That is so amazing. I love it that I had chills when you said that. Chills of truth. This is your destiny. So what is your message then? What is your message? You have to have an audience that will buy it and you have to have a message.
The message took a long time to figure out. And so for those listening and watching, if you're at the beginning of your journey, just know that it's going to change and it's different for the message. So if you ask me who my message is for a corporate audience or even for professionals, my message is I give companies and organizations that want to teach their leaders the skills necessary to thrive in a diverse, ever-changing workplace.
Hold on. Sorry to cut you off. It looks like you're okay. So what is your message? All you need is a message and an audience that will buy it. So what is your message?
Yeah, absolutely. So my message specifically, if I'm talking to a company, if I'm talking to a college or an association or an organization, my message is going to be different than if I'm talking to entrepreneurs or those that have a TEDx talk, a book, or something of that nature. So with companies, I say that I teach companies and leaders the skills necessary to thrive in a diverse, ever-changing workforce. So that's the message to them. So if they're a company, if they're a leader of a company, if they want to thrive in a diverse, ever-changing workforce, okay, cool. Tell us how you do them. But if it's an entrepreneur, if it's even a small business owner or somebody that wants to use the power of public speaking to magnify their platform to increase visibility, profitability, and credibility, then I'm your guy. So you just have to know your message and know how your message can help a particular audience, and then just see. And I'll say this, Amanda, entrepreneurship as a whole is a science experiment. Every single campaign, every single thing that you do, it's a science experiment. And so being able to be flexible, have the mindset to move through it, that is the biggest part of it.
It's so true. Exactly. So that makes sense. So how do people get booked to speak? I mean, you've had 317 paid gigs. So teach us how we can get booked to speak.
Yeah. So Being paid to speak, I want to just first put the context behind it. So if you're going to
Okay.
use public speaking to get paid, there are really only two ways. And I like to keep things as simple as possible because, as you know, there's a whole lot of stuff out there. There's a whole lot of
Yeah.
people that can tell you they're gonna book you to speak, or they're gonna do this, or they're gonna do that. There's two ways that you get paid from speaking as we understand it and know it. First, somebody pays you to be on their stage or on their platform. Hey, Amanda, our company, our team wants to bring you in to do this. Here's your money. The other
Right.
part of that is you create a platform or a stage, you stand on it, and you're selling to the people in the audience. Maybe you're charging them to come see you, or maybe you're making an offer at the end, whatever that is. Those are the two basic ways.
Two
So you can
ways.
use speaking as marketing, or you can
Yep.
use speaking as an income opportunity. So
Mhm.
if you want to get paid to speak, if you want to use it as an income opportunity, then you have to know this. There's no such thing as the speaking business.
Okay.
There's no such thing. It's the event planning business, and you as a speaker are a vendor. What does that mean? Why is that important?
Right.
Because now the mindset is I'm going to go find opportunities where people are already hiring speakers versus trying to create an opportunity for a company or an organization that doesn't even value speakers. That's important. So when you
That's
think
good.
about it like that, you can find there are thousands. If you go on Google and just put in the year, put in the word conference, put in the word that pertains to your industry, whether it be tech industry, healthcare industry, whatever it is, association, you'll find a whole bunch of conferences. And so you
Yes.
can see exactly, okay, they hired Amanda Moxley. Okay, well, they paying. I know they paying. They got
Right.
Odell Bizzel on stage. Okay, I know they paying. So you know that that's an opportunity for you potentially in the future. But then here's the second part to that. There is a lookalike. So if there's a regional conference, and this is something I looked up recently, so it's fresh in my mind, there is an association for funeral directors. So think about people that get buried, mortuaries and all that stuff. There is a National Funeral Directors Association, a big one, a national one. But every state has a state association, and every state has a conference. So if you think about it like that, okay, they got conferences, there's so many opportunities. All you need to do is build a list, reach out to that list, looking for speakers for your upcoming conference in June, in September, whenever it is. You just ask that question. That is one of the biggest things as far as if you're wanting to get paid on somebody else's stage, already insert yourself into the conversation that they're having about the event that they want to have.
And do you recommend then, so you're telling us there's two kinds of speakers that okay, I don't need to recap everything. You guys are following, you're tracking. But so then you go and you have this master list, you get on their radar. Do you pitch them multiple talk topics?
Well, the best thing to do, and this is something else for those of us that are in entrepreneurship, I avoided this for the longest time because I am a naturally introverted person. I don't like to deal with a lot of people. I'm outgoing when it's profitable.
Yeah.
When I have to be on, I'll
Yeah.
be on. But when
Right.
I don't have to be, I don't want to be. And most of us are not taught the sales process.
Right.
If you're marketing or selling a speaking service, it might seem simple to you and I, or for those of you listening or watching, but it's complex to the people outside of this industry. Because
Right.
if you think
True.
about it, and Amanda, you might know this. I know some of the listeners, some of the watchers might know this. If you tell people, "Oh, I'm a professional speaker, I'm a motivational speaker," they kind of don't know what that is.
Right.
They think, okay, so you're like, and then they'll insert the image or the video of the person that they know as a speaker. Oh, so you just go around speaking. Oh, okay, that's nice. Or why do you even do you get paid for that? You volunteer?
Right.
They have no idea. So the people that hire you, unless they're a seasoned event planner and they've been doing it over and over and over again, they're as clueless as everybody else. So you have
Right.
to make sure within that you're letting them know that you're available to speak. So you want to set a meeting. So when you send
Okay.
out your initial pitch, you just say, hey, are you looking for speakers? If they
Okay.
say yes, okay, great. Let's hop on a call and talk about what you need and see if your needs match what we offer, period. And you get them on a call. Then you ask them the questions that you want a keynote speaker where you just, 30, 45 minutes in front of everybody? Are you looking for workshop presenters? And then what you do is whatever they need, if it's matched with your skill set, you match it. For example, I am a keynote guy. I like keynotes. I like 45 minutes to an hour where I can do my thing, be on stage in front of everybody and go. If I'm doing platform speaking, if I'm speaking on somebody else's platform, that's what I want to do.
Right.
I don't want to do a 3-day retreat. I don't want to. That's
too long.
It's too long. It's not in my skill set. I could probably do it if I was paid enough, but they'd have to pay me a lot to do that for it to be effective. So you figure out what that is. And then once you figure that out, you pitch them based on what it is they need. So we're on the call. Amanda says, hey, we're looking for a keynote speaker to close us out, to wrap a bow around everything we learned, to fit into our theme. Odell, is that something you could do? Well, absolutely, I can do that. And then you go from there.
Okay. So in terms of getting paid, which is really exciting for a lot of speakers who don't want to sell from the stage and create their own event, what do you recommend in terms of negotiating? What's the best? Give us some negotiation strategies.
Yeah, negotiation is huge. I am a big proponent of what I call eloquent honesty. So if you are someone who is just starting, and maybe not just starting professionally, but you've dipped your toe in the water and you said, okay, I did some presentations for my job, or I did some presentations because a colleague or a friend asked me to come, and it did really well. And I want to try to sting out. I'm going to dip my toe in the water. I'm going to start negotiating. You have to figure out what the number is for you. And I want to say that slowly, because you will hear other people. I get paid 20,000 a speech, 30,000 a speech, 50,000 a speech, 5,000 a speech. You'll hear it everywhere. And here's the truth. You don't know who's telling the truth.
Right.
You don't know who's lying or not. You don't know if somebody's saying, I get paid 20K, but it's because I only speak at conventions with 5,000 people and I sell my book. So they don't pay me anything. You don't know if you don't know.
You don't know.
Don't go off of that. Go off of what you need, especially if you're just starting. And I always tell people, pick a bill or the highest bill that you can think of and double it.
That's cool.
So if your mortgage is $2,000 a month, round it up to 5. That's double, travel, all that stuff. 5,000. And the reason why I say it like that is because it's easier for you to put context around it, because it's hard for people to think, oh my gosh, they're paying me $5,000 for 45 minutes. Oh, it's not really that, but that's what you're thinking. And that energy comes off in negotiation. So if you're thinking, okay, what would feel good? And I used to do this all the time. Like my wife, when I just started, I was really young. Our mortgage was $500 a month. Oh, the days. Beautiful.
I know, right?
I was like, man, if I could make $3,000, oh man, that's 6 months of mortgage payments.
Right.
So for me, $3,000, that's what it was. So you start there. Always start a little higher. That's why I said, if it's 2, go to 5. Always start a little higher, because they're going to want to negotiate with you too. Don't think. And again, this is another lie that people tell you. It's like, oh, I never negotiate my fees. I go in there every single time. I ask them for $15,000. They give it to me without blinking. People be lying. Everybody negotiates, y'all. Everybody.
Yes.
And so if you see an opportunity and you say, okay, this is what I would like to make based on this, is double my mortgage payment, is triple my car, whatever that thing is for you, you go to them and you say, this is what I would like to be paid. Or if you have been paid before, this is what I'm normally paid. This
Mm-hmm.
number, this is what's included.
Right.
How close can your group get to that?
I like that.
And be quiet. See
Yep.
what they say. And then after
Mm-hmm.
that, they'll let you know. Oh my gosh, 10,000. Oh, can't get close to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's negotiate. Put
Mm-hmm.
that word negotiate out there. Let them know that
Right.
you're willing to negotiate, because some people, oh no, 10,000 or else I walk. Okay,
Right.
cool. And they might have had that experience before, and they might say,
Mhm.
I'm not even about to haggle with this person. I'm just going to go to the next one.
Mhm.
But if you say, look, it's $10,000. I come in the day before to make sure that I'm there on time. So I need extra hotel room for a day. And I need
Right.
this and I need that. So your team doesn't have to worry about anything. And this is what I
Mhm.
offer, blah, 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 blah. Boom, it's 10,000. This is what I'm normally paid. How close can your group get to that? Oh
That's
man,
good.
Odell, I don't know. Maybe we can do 8. And then I have a business decision to make. Okay,
Right.
8. And this is the last part of negotiation. If they come back with the number like 10 and 8, oh, that's $2,000. Okay. Well, if they're asking for something, just say, hey, okay, we're negotiating. Again, put
Yeah.
that out there. We're negotiating. Okay, if I do 8, all of those things that I listed, we're going to have to take out about 3 of them. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And then you go from there.
There, you just keep going until you reach an agreement, then you have the contract, and then you honor the contract. That's good.
Absolutely.
So I like what you're saying. So people could go, they could make their list, reach out. How long does it take for people to get booked to speak?
The sales process for getting booked to speak on somebody's stage
Yeah.
usually depends on the event, but it's usually about 3 to 9 months. So that's something that I tell
Okay.
people. If you want to start today, let's say it's January of whatever year you're in, you're like, I want to get booked. More than
Mm-hmm.
likely, the soonest you can get booked, based on my experience and based on the industry, is probably
Mm-hmm.
in January. If you're starting in January, probably March or April at the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger conventions, bigger conferences, they schedule a year, 18 months out. So the
Right.
rule of thumb is, the larger the conference, the larger the event, the further out they book, and the more they
Mm-hmm.
pay normally.
Okay. Right.
So you just have to figure out what that is. And what I tell people all the time, do not get into public speaking or getting paid to speak if you need money fast.
Right.
Don't do it, because
Dude.
you will be disappointed and you
Yeah.
will go broke doing it.
Right.
One suggestion that I have, Amanda, if I can,
Mm-hmm.
for people
Please.
that, if you're, I know I want to do speaking. Okay, Odell, 3 to 9 months, it's a sales cycle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place, I can't remember the website, but it's easy for you to Google. You can go to
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce in the United States, just
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce's, and just volunteer to do virtual if it's too far from you, or do in person, just
Mm-hmm.
meetings based on your expertise. The reason why I say you can do that is because you start building a network of businesses, small businesses, you start learning, and then that
Mm-hmm.
can shut down the sales cycle. Because if you do sales training, if you
Mm-hmm.
do, even if you do public speaking training, you can sell that to a small business, to whereas you can come in and do training and it'll cut down on that sales cycle, versus you won't have to wait 3 to 9 months. Maybe it can be 3 to 6 months, and you can actually
Right.
get a check in hand or direct deposit in account.
3 to 6 months. So, because I was gonna say, oh, okay, if you're like, okay, this will be my mortgage, you could just do one of these once a month, and that's your mortgage, and that's so fun. That's just your, but there's a sales cycle. So I like it. So any other tips you have for us? You're a wealth of knowledge. So Chamber of Commerce, volunteer to host your meeting in your skill set. Would you recommend any other like local places for people to pitch?
So you have to think about what you want. If you want to get on a stage, on a large stage, you got to go national, probably more than
Okay.
likely, to get
Yeah.
paid a lot, to get a lot of people in. But think of the industry that you're in or the industry that you have expertise in. I'll give you a very niched example. My first job out of college while I was building my speaking career was in law enforcement. Now you think, oh, law enforcement, the police, corrections, they don't have conferences. Yeah, they do. They have a lot of conferences. And so somebody with the background, and I'm actually in negotiations with doing some law enforcement conferences because I worked in law enforcement for 5 years. So then it's an easy, oh, this guy was in law enforcement. He worked. Okay, cool. Yeah, that will work for us. So it's an easier ask. You don't need to have as much social proof and online collateral. You have that connection with the industry that you're in. So find that industry association. And it's very simple. You can just put in this example, law enforcement association conference.
Okay.
Put it in. So if you worked in tech industry, if you worked in healthcare, if you worked at, there's EMTs, Amanda, EMTs, you heard it? First responders.
Yep.
They have conferences out the wazoo. And they pay.
I bet. Right.
And they pay.
Oh, wow.
So in any industry you can think of, there are conferences. And if you have experience there, you automatically become an industry expert if you want to step on stage.
And most conferences and associations, are they looking for speakers?
Absolutely. Because nobody wants to speak.
Right.
And I'll say this too, respectfully, most people are not masters at the craft. So even if they do speak, it's kind of like, oh, this was nice. And I use this example. I don't want to be crude with it, but as of this recording, Valentine's Day was yesterday. So those of us that have been in intimate relationships, if you've been in mediocre relationships all your life and you meet that one, you meet that one who checks all the boxes. Right. You feel, you're like, wait a minute, what have I been doing with my life? I've been waiting and dealing with mediocrity all this time, and there's this out there. That's what it would feel like when you're a really good speaker and you come on, they're gonna be like, oh my goodness, why haven't I heard of this person before? Yes. And that's the type of energy that you want. That way you'll get rebooked, and that way people will keep reaching out to you. So do you, in terms of people mastering their craft, what are some tips you have for mastering the craft so they are not a mediocre Valentine? Get a coach. Right. Exactly. Get a coach. Get a coach. I'm going to say it one more time. Get a coach. Get a coach. Because you need somebody that can tell you whether you're good or not. Because here's something that speakers do. I've done it in the past. Maybe you have a feedback form after you speak, and most of the people are going to say, oh, it was so great. Right. Then you get a few people that say, it was horrible. I can't believe that they said that. Here's what's true. Yeah. What they are saying is not professional feedback. Right. What they're saying is audience feedback, which is important. Audience feedback is important. But you need professional feedback. It's kind of like if you were looking at the Super Bowl and you didn't know anything about football. You were like, oh, that person, how could they not catch that ball? Or how could they not do that? You've never been in the thick of it, so you don't know. That's why you need a coach that's been in the thick of it. Somebody that's speaking, when you see them speak, you're inspired, you want to move forward, find a coach. And then the second part to that is practice where it matters. Practice where it matters. Sure, you can practice on video, like we're on video. Sure, you can practice in the mirror. You can do a lot of that. Practice in front of other human beings, ideally strangers that don't know you and don't have any bonus into liking you. Practice. So go to those Chamber of Commerce meetings. Join a Toastmasters where you just get up and you speak. Get in those times where your body has that fight or flight, where it's like, oh man, you're sweating a little bit. Get in those. The more you practice, the better you perform. Professionals practice more than they perform. So that's why I can do interviews like this. You look me up. I've done a whole bunch of interviews. Super easy for me to do interviews because I do them a lot. Not because I'm super smart or anything, but I do it a lot. So make sure that you're doing it a lot. Some people, they hope to be good without practice, and It doesn't make sense. You can't be delusional and successful at the same time.
Phew, can't be delusional and successful at the same time. One thing that I do, and I don't know if you recommend this, is after I speak, I will watch the tape. It's like I watch the game tape. Do you recommend that as well?
Absolutely. And it's painful.
It's painful.
Amanda said it because she's amazing. But I'm going to tell you, it's painful.
Mhm.
I look at some of my YouTube videos from years ago and I'm like, oh, I can't believe they paid me for that. But that's the
Right.
beautiful thing about public speaking. You can get
Mhm.
paid as you learn, because as long
Right.
as you're willing, as long as you have the desire to get better, you're going to be better than most of the people you speak in front of. But you're just going to see it and you're like, ooh, why was I pacing like that? Why was I used way too many filler words? Where was that story going? I don't know. You're going to be able to nitpick yourself. So definitely watching the game film
Yes.
helps.
Yes, it is painful, but definitely worth it. And then choose something to change for your next talk. I love that. So what do people do if they actually, if they want to learn how to sell from stage?
So selling from stage is kind of the same
Mm-hmm.
as selling your message. And this is something that whenever I teach people basic public speaking, I tell them the goal for every speech is the same: to
Mm-hmm.
sell something.
Right.
What do you mean? This is an informative speech. Yeah, you're trying to sell that the information that you got is good and that they should listen.
Mm-hmm.
Every speech is persuasive. Every single
Yes.
one. So when you think about it in that context, when you're selling from stage, the easiest way is
Mm-hmm.
to build some sort of emotion in your presentation. And it
Ooh,
doesn't have to be where you have people crying or you have people, whatever. Like, get them laughing, get them
yes.
thinking, and then get them thinking about the solution that you offer. So if you're trying
Mm-hmm.
to sell some sort of service or something, just talk about it in a way in which they'll, okay, what's that solution? What's that solution? It's kind of like if you watch a movie and you see that they're, oh, I know what's about to happen. We've all watched the movie. I know what's about to
Right.
happen. I know what's about
Oh
to
yeah.
happen, but you're still watching.
Yep.
So you want them to know. And I'm really deliberate. Again, eloquent honesty. Whenever I'm speaking to
Mm-hmm.
sell, I tell people, like, look, guess what? I'm going to offer you something at the end if you think what I
Yep.
said is valuable. Is that okay? That's
Right.
another thing. Getting conditional agreements. Is that
Is
okay?
that okay?
Yes.
And you say that at
Cool.
the beginning of your talk.
At the beginning of every single one, especially I know I'm selling
Yes.
something.
Right.
And you can practice that within your presentations. I did a presentation today where I was talking
Mm-hmm.
to a healthcare company and I said, hey, good, this is what we're going to do today. And I laid it out for them.
Mm-hmm.
You do that. You take command, you let them know. And then you just create different frames and different,
Mm-hmm.
and I know this goes beyond this interview,
Good.
but you create different frames. And the biggest frame you have to create is the fact that there's something that they don't know.
Mm.
Just lay it out. It's something that they don't know, and it's
Mm-hmm.
something that you're going to tell them. Just lay
Right.
that out there. When you do that at the beginning, they're waiting on you to tell them what that thing is. Like, wait a minute.
Mm.
They said it was going to tell them something. Okay, I'm waiting for it. Okay, point two. I like point two. Well, remember they said they was going to tell me? That's what you want them to do. And then at the end, you tell them. But one thing that I will say, and the reason why I use eloquent honesty, brutal honesty doesn't really work well
Mm.
when you're speaking, but be eloquent about it. Like, tell people. I think we're in a stage now in our country, in the industry, Amanda,
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
people have tried so many. I'm gonna do NLP and NEPQ and BBD, and I'm gonna do all of this mystical stuff and psychological things that's gonna trick
Yeah.
you into buying from me. And it's like,
Right.
look, just tell me what it is. Like, just tell me
Right.
what, in an eloquent way. Tell me
Mm-hmm.
what it is. Tell me why I might need it. Tell me the solution. Tell me the pain if I don't connect to it. And then
Yes.
make me an offer. Like
Right.
that, that's it. We've
That's
been
it.
desensitized to a lot of different things. So when you're selling from stage, be eloquently honest. I say the word eloquent because that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Be eloquently honest. Tell them what you're going to do in a good way
Yeah.
and tell them about a solution that you offer and why they need it and the pain that they'll experience if they don't get it. and then make your offer.
Yes. So what is your thought? So, okay, last question, because I know you need to run and your time is valuable. What are your thoughts between virtual Zoom the world we're in and in person? Like, how do you get people engaged and raising their hand and acting with you on Zoom?
This is going to sound like an oversimplification, but you simply ask them to do something. So if I'm in person, I say, raise your hands. If I'm in person,
Right.
if I'm in person, I say, look that way, look that way, stand up, sit down within the confines of
Right.
of the speech. If I'm on
Yes.
Zoom, hey, if you can't safely, just put a me in the chat. Just put a me in the chat. If you agree, if you're ready, just put a me, Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you so much. Just ask them to do something. And then
What if they
reward
don't
people.
do it?
If they don't do it, they don't do it.
Or like 5 of the people do and 5 don't. It just is what it is. Okay.
Those are the ones that you lock in on. And you can
Yep.
even, if you have the personality, I have a personality, I don't really care as it pertains to my feelings won't be hurt. So if I see people kind of, if I'm in person and like this, like, don't worry, you're going to wake up soon. Like, you're going to wake up soon. Like, don't worry. Or I'll say, you'll get it on the way out. But hey, don't blame me. Like, I'll talk directly to that. Like, raise your hands. Am I just talking to yourself? Am I just talking to myself? Okay.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. Like, look.
Yes.
And so you have to be willing in your own way, in your own personality, to challenge your audience. Because if you don't, then they won't buy in. And if they buy in, they won't buy.
Exactly. Okay. So good. Well, I know that you actually have a system and a way to help people get speak, get speak, get speak, get booked to speak and pitch. So tell us a little bit about how people can work with you and what that looks like.
Yeah, well, we do. We work primarily with people who they're already doing some speaking already. Maybe they've done a TED talk, maybe they've written a book, maybe they've been a coach or they've been a consultant and they want to do more public speaking. And what our company does is we basically pitch for you. So we will send at a minimum 1,000 pitches for you to your target. So we'll find that target, whoever that is. If you want to work in some of the industries and areas that I talked about, we'll go target those people. We'll go find those people for you, the emails and the names of those individuals, and we'll send them out via email for you. And so you pay us for that service. And and if it works like we know that it will, then we bring you on as a client monthly. If you're like, I have a team already, or there's something that I want to do, I have a team already. Could you just show us how to do it? Then we'll show you how to do it as well. And so we do that inside of our community, our Get Known community. If that's something you're interested in, Get Known, like KNOWN, Get Known. If that's something you're interested in, you can go to bookmoreclientsfast.com, or you can just find me on social media, Instagram. I'm Odell Bizzel. I'm the only Odell Bizzel in those internet streets.
And I bet and you're not only Odell Bizzel, but you are the second.
That's right.
Is your son, if you have a son or a daughter, are they the third?
No, not at all. That's something that my wife and I talked about, but no.
Okay. Side note.
Yeah, my son is not. I have a son. He's not named after me.
Okay, no problem. All right. So basically Get Known, and then the website, say it one more time. Get Clients Fast.
Bookmoreclientsfast.com.
I love that. Getmoreclientsfast.com. Thank you so much, Odell Bizzel. That was super powerful. I'm inspired to go out there and think about all those bills that I could pay with speaking, just moving my mouth and having fun. That's so great. Thank you for your time and expertise. And everybody, be sure to watch the next video. Follow Odell Bizzel. Are you on YouTube also?
I am. Get Known on YouTube.
Get known on YouTube. Yep. Perfect. I'll be following you there. All right, guys. I'll see you in next week's video. Thank you. Bye.